everyone, and welcome back to our podcast, TUTEE'S Hideaway. And for today's episode, we will be talking about my recent experience lah in interview for bachelor's degree. I will introduce myself again. Hello everyone. My name is Putri Erika, and I recently just graduated from Labuan Matriculation College. I studied life science. And to go even more back, I used to study at SM St. Patrick for 3 years and SM Holy Trinity for 2 years. Okay, so for this interview, it was an interview for education degree, bachelor's degree in TESL, as in teaching English as a second language. You might be wondering how I went from a science student, as in how I switched from science to wanting to get a education degree in English. Okay, so initially my goal was to become a doctor. My entire childhood, I planned to become a doctor. So from there, I made a plan basically to take science. You might be wondering, why did I transfer schools? Like, as I've mentioned earlier, I studied at SM St. Patrick for 3 years. I transferred because I didn't get the subject I wanted, which was science. At first, I got economics and accounting. I already made an appeal, but I got rejected due to, I think it was too late to submit an appeal at that time, so they just did not accept it. Yeah, the school just rejected my appeal because it was too late. It was almost closing lah at the time. Yeah, I think so. So I had no choice and I have to transfer to another school. At first my family and I was kinda lost because which school I should go that has like DLP for science subjects, because most of the schools in Tawau here use Malay, right?
Yeah,
And
there's
then
only three schools that use DLP. That is now St. Patrick, Convent, and also Holy. Holy. Just these three that use DLP.
Yeah, but just those three schools.
I'm not sure about the other governments, because the ones that are commonly using DLP are like church schools. So I'm not sure about the other government schools if they use DLP or not. But as far as I know, it's just the three of these schools that use DLP, the ones that are under church administration. So schools lah.
Yeah, so at first I was like, man, maybe this was, like destiny to take accounting and economics. I almost wanted to accept that fate, but my father was like, just transfer. You know that you wanted science. I don't want you to be miserable or regret that decision for the rest of your life. And luckily, the superintendent of the St. Patrick School I used to study at recommended me to move to SM Holy. So, he recommended me to transfer there, and I did. I did transfer there. Overall, I felt happy that I had the chance to study science. After I finished my SPM, I got good grades. At least kind of qualified lah to have like a healthcare career. So at that time I was like, I might as well apply for metric. So I did apply for metric, got accepted, and studied. Unfortunately, this is where I was kind of having, like life crisis, because my pointer did not reach the requirement to study medicine for both semesters, unfortunately. So that is where I realized that I need to change field. I really, really need to change field. And basically, I look at my both of my results from 2 semesters as a sign lah that maybe science isn't for me anymore. And to be honest, my feelings for I don't know, maybe I sound like I'm describing a crush right now, but hear me out. Basically, my feelings for science subjects became sour. So, like, I just lost interest in it. And I was like, well, might as well go study something else. Then I remembered my UPU application. I applied for TESL, degree in TESL as first choice and second choice. Yeah. I applied for UPSI, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris in I put it in first choice and University Putra Malaysia in my second choice lah. But I got rejected by UPM and I kind of lost faith in there and I was like, dang, maybe I won't get the invitation from UPSI too because I already got rejected by UPM.
Mm-hmm.
So like last month on 20th of June, the result for the interview invitation came out. I checked and I got invited. I did not expect it at all. So yeah, I was very happy. I almost cried. I was shaking like crazy when I was taking the invitation. Yeah. From then on, I realized that I am suitable or like I have more potential in linguistics, especially in English language.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a bit of a backstory lah. We go back to when I was in secondary school. My not my parents lah. My parents supported me all the way through when I want to change the subjects. I want the subjects lah, which was from account to science. But uh, when my father went to Holy, like sign the transfer letter lah or something like that to that basically he was in charge. My father was managing managing the paperwork lah for me to transfer. And if I don't remember who, but the superintendent he took a look at my result and he said lah, are you sure that your daughter wants to transfer here and take science? Because I don't see her, pursuing science in the future. My father told me about this later on after I finished matrix. Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of shocked, honestly. So the superintendent said lah that I have more potential in English language because my English, based from my results at the time, my English was, I scored lah, I aced in it. And he said lah, are you sure that your daughter wants to transfer? Because what if she can't carry and all that? But my father insisted that I want to lah. Because at the time I was really, really determined to take science. So yeah, in the end he just approved it and I transferred. Okay. Uh you might be wondering, out of all languages, why I choose English, why I choose TESL. Okay, so the reason why I choose English is because basically I've been exposed to the language since I was a kid. Like,
Yeah,
like
same.
Elijah, you can relate to that kan?
Yeah,
Like
I
I've been
literally
exposed to that
grew up
language.
with English,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in terms of like
So
um communication with what I
yeah.
supposed to. Like, I'm not gonna lie lah. I spoke to my cousins, like mostly my cousins in English. I was
Mm?
raised with basically Western music and movies. And
Yeah, same thing for
my
me.
childhood was filled with Western cartoons, English speaking cartoons, shows,
Yeah,
movies, and songs.
yeah,
So like
yeah, and like
ah
Eh, what?
I'm basically exposed with that language at such an early
Mm.
age until the point
Yeah,
people
same.
like whenever someone asks me like how am I that fluent in English, all I can say is just well I was just exposed to that language at an early age, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
good at it.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
And yeah, as Elijah said, I got exposed to a lot of English language content such as movies, shows, music, to the point where usually my relatives, when they, especially my cousins lah, whenever they watch cartoons at the time, they always change to Malay dub. Like
Yeah,
it kind like it like at that point it kind of give me the ick,
yeah.
like yeah, it feels so off watching English
Seriously,
cartoons in Malay dub.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
okay, not gonna lie, in my opinion, if that English, sorry, if that cartoon is really from a native English in country such as US, also UK, I find it very
mm.
cringe whenever it is spoken in another language, especially Malay,
Dude, for
because I
real,
just find it like okay, this is a bit cringe and a bit weird at the same because
yeah,
I just find it cringe.
it
To be honest, I just feel
it's
I
so
just
so cringe.
so like
And the way their mouth doesn't sing with that dog, I don't
yeah,
know, it just feels off to me, man.
seriously, because
And
I really find it
yeah,
very uncomfortable to watch lah, especially when it is in Malay. I'm not gonna lie, kan saya kan baca apa, but
uh,
um
ya
try
bukan,
to
kami
keep
bukan
it.
resis ya, kami
I'm
bukan
not being
resis nih,
racist to my
tapi
own language and my own country, yeah. But um,
ya,
it's like how to say, try to keep it at its original. Nah, macam
yeah, like
macam as
take it as an
example,
opportunity to learn English lah,
like
basically.
as an
Ah,
example, Malaysian cartoons lah, like Bobo Boy ataupun Upin Ipin. Like I prefer it in
mm,
Malay. I prefer cartoons with their original language, like from their origin
yeah,
country.
same.
Even though like
Mm,
some of it maybe like apa have been dubbed, has been like apa successfully dubbed in English version or in other language version, but I still prefer watching it in their original language. Not only cartoons lah, but
yeah,
mostly like shows and also songs, movies, especially. I really
yeah,
prefer to
yeah,
watch or listen to it in the original language lah, where
mm,
the
yeah,
show is produced. Like okay, I know we live in Malaysia, and Malay language is like our bahasa kebangsaan, bahasa rasmi.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I'm not trying to um, not support lah. When I go to movies or like when I hear them speaking or like voice overing or like singing that
mm-mm.
certain movie or song in a Malay version, I just found it a bit um
A bit
unusual.
weird.
I just find it a bit
Yeah,
off.
almost uncanny. Yeah,
I cannot sing it the vibe from the original ones. So I'm not being racist.
yeah,
I'm not being non-Malaysian. I'm not being patriotic. But that is my opinion lah. Basically, try to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
it
Same for me,
original. That's
honestly.
all.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So why TESL? Okay, enough about my how my love for English came up. Okay, what made me want to pursue teaching? Initially, I don't even plan to pursue teaching career because my mind macam terlekat lah, like okay, I
Mm-hmm.
must become a doctor, I must become a doctor, like, and all that lah. I didn't think of any, any apa tu, any backup plans in case this doctor dream does not work out. It doesn't work out now anyway. Yeah. What made me want to decide to pursue teaching? Basically, the spark came in during a seminar. I think during the English seminar during Form 5 when we were in Form 5. At the time, it was basically a program where our English teachers invited someone to our school. Like, you remember that, right, Elijah? Yeah.
Thanks for recapping it
Basic.
because you or
Yeah, it
oh yeah,
happened a
yeah,
long time ago, but
we did. I remember the
yeah,
teacher.
we
Yeah,
did.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we stayed sampai petang though.
Yeah, I remember like she's one of the um she's one of
One
the
of the
masters I guess
examine
for SPM paper,
markers. Yeah,
and she
yeah,
said
yeah,
that yeah, I remember her because she said that she's one of the graders for English SPM. Basically,
yeah.
horror stories are like SPM students' most favorite part in paper two.
Yes. So yeah, at one point the speaker asked us to work in a group and write an essay. I think we need to write articles, right? At the time. Yeah,
Um,
articles.
yeah, articles.
Articles, right? Yeah, articles. Yeah. And like, back in school, I really like choosing articles because usually SPM got three options, right? Article, story, and review. If I'm not mistaken, yeah,
Yeah,
review. And I always go for article. So I I was good at it. And at the time, I think I was the only one working on it, and my other
group.
teammates just sit still, goyang kaki and all that. And suddenly the speaker asks us to present our answer and, you know, as in like present the answer as if you're teaching them. And it was my group's turn. No one else in my team wanted to volunteer and go out there
Mm,
and present. So I had no choice but to go out there and go walk to the front and present my answers and share tips to hundreds of students there at the time.
yeah,
So yeah, it was nerve wracking for me at first, but then I remember I was still shaking at the time. I was still shaking, grabbing my paper at the time, putting my hands on the table begitu takut betul kan. And yeah, basically I tried my best lah to present my answer as if I'm a teacher. And as I did the presentation, I saw some of my friends punya reactions lah. They and their faces basically they understood lah my presentation, and from there I kind of feel something in me like I feel satisfied and happy that I get to spread knowledge, get to teach people, help people to improve their grades in English. So from there, I was like, dang, if I don't become a doctor, I might as well become a teacher, an English teacher to be precise. So yeah, from there, I kept teaching career as my plan B.
mm,
Plan A, study medicine. Yeah. So yeah, that is how my spark for teaching get up. Okay, why did I apply from earlier? I mentioned that I apply UPSI first choice. The reason why I apply UPSI because basically it is commonly known in Malaysia lah, at least as the best university for education. Like my parents kept saying when I was applying for UPU, kau apply UPSI, kau apply UPSI, kau jangan apply uni lain. Kalau mau ambil pendidikan, kau pergilah UPSI. So yeah, I applied for UPSI. And and it also, and from what I've read lah, when I was doing research about this university, it has quite the strong reputation globally. Okay, now we get to the main part lah. The overall experience of me interview, and I might as well share some tips. Back to the past lah, basically, like on the 20th of June too. I told my parents lah that I got to attend the interview, and then from there I started to do some research on the university, the etiquette and all that. So yeah, I saw on TikTok, but on TikTok, unfortunately, interviews for bachelor's degree in TESL apa tu rarely gets discussed. So it was kind of hard for me to to research further about how does the TESL interview actually work. Like, I barely find any content related to TESL. Paling-paling pun 4 videos or 4 videos, or I don't know, 3 videos. So yeah, which is why I plan to make this podcast with Elijah lah juga. This episode was unplanned actually. It's kind of like a last minute suggestion from me to add in because of this lah. There were barely TESL interview related content lah on social media. So anyways, for the interview, I would tell you what you need. First, you need a name tag. You need to make a name tag. At first, I was hesitant, like, should I even make one? Is it even necessary? But then I look at other people lah, other students that currently studying at UPSI, and they said that you need to make a name tag so that you can show your appearance as a teacher lah, basically. And other than that, for TESL lah, exclusively for TESL only, I don't know about other courses, you need to bring your stationery because for TESL interview there are writing tests, macam ujian bertulis. Yes. And then for women, you need to dress, for men and women lah, basically you need to dress formally, and especially for women, you need to wear baju kurung, formal, but it is not compulsory to wear a blazer. Yeah, not compulsory but encouraged. For men, you need to wear formal fit lah, basically collared shirt and then blazer and all that. Okay, so for UPSI, many people wondered, do we need to make mock teaching materials? Is it compulsory? The answer is not really. Yeah. In the invitation, they did not specifically specify if you need to do mock teaching. It depends on the panel, actually. Yeah, it depends on the panel. So after that interview lah, we fast forward back dulu lah. After that interview, I asked my friends lah yang UPSI tu, yang that got invited to UPSI too as for interview, but for different courses, some panel required mock teaching, some didn't. Yeah, so it really depends on the panel. Yes. Unlike IPG, you need to prepare kan mock teaching material. But for UPSI, it's not required. But if you want to show that you are prepared lah kan, prepared to teach and all that, go ahead. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. But yeah, okay. So that's all the things you need lah. And also make sure to prepare your documents. Okay. prepare your documents, please prepare it to a T. Like, for my interview TESL ni, they required my IC, my Sijil SPM, my MUET certificate, and like you can actually you can just bring your result slip, but you know I was like overthinking at the time, and you know like for MUET certificate you need to pay 60 ringgit kan for it, for
Yeah,
the MPM to print it to you and deliver it to your home. So I was like, should I even buy that certificate?
I told
So
you no.
I was like, you know what? Screw it. I just paid 60 ringgit for that, and yeah, I have my certificate.
It's just white background, right? No decoration. Eh?
There's like a apa tuh chop from MPM lah, holographic chop gitu.
I should buy
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
maybe.
didn't
Yeah, you
buy
should
my
definitely buy it.
cert. I just print it, and it came out just with a white background and the details that stated me
Yeah, well,
as the
the
one who took my
certificate
test.
is like dia macam sijil SPM tu. Dia punya the
Oh
paper
yeah.
is kind of hard, and there's like MPM printing in the background begitu. Gitulah. So besides sijil muet, you need to prepare your apa tu your transcript, matriculation transcript lah. I don't know lah, sampai sekarang belum sampai dong transcript kita tu. Like I
It's
don't
been like a
like
month.
my yeah, my friends and I like we were overthinking tahap gaban at the time, like macam mana ni tiada transcript, apa kita pakai ni, begitu begitu begitu. So yeah, I asked around lah in the group, in some groups, or yang I saw on social media lah, TikTok specifically. They just told they just said that to use your apa result slips lah for both semesters. So I did just that. After that, most importantly, your sijil co-curriculum. Yeah, dorang paling mau tengok tu yang sijil co-curriculum. They want to see whether you are active or not. First, for sijil co-curriculum, the order is like this. The highest achievement, for in my case, I put my certificates of I get in as apa tu? So yeah, of award and achievement ka, if I'm not mistaken, of joining the EAMP, English Access Micro Scholarship Program too. Long story short, it is basically a program that was created by the US Embassy, United States Department. Yeah,
Oh, that. Yeah, I've
where
been there.
yeah, yeah, where like where you can learn English, both American and British English, learn the American lifestyle, their culture for 2 years. Basically, I joined that program for 2 years and I got the certificate. I put it as my highest achievement lah. And then from there, I just put my certificate of participation and appreciation lah, from matriculation until sekolah rendah. I mean, usually they just required certificates from 3 to 2 years back, but I just put everything in there. So, nampak tebal sikit lah kan file tu. Biasalah. Okay, so yeah, that's what you need. Okay, so for the interview part, and I don't know, at the time, like the day before the interview, I was feeling scared. I felt scared, and at the same time I felt excited because uh I was looking forward to experience the interview lah, basically, so I can share it with everyone and I can remember it for the rest of my life. Not only that, you also need to gain some general knowledge lah about Malaysia, like the capitals of each state,
Mm,
who's the minister of this, who's the minister of that,
yeah.
because from what I've seen in TikTok and other social medias, some panels lah, not all panels, some panels ask those types of questions
Yeah.
just to see like how aware you are about the current issue of Malaysia, how aware you are of which minister, what minister, who in apa, siapa menteri ini, siapa menteri
Yeah.
itu, like to to make sure that you are prepared lah as a teacher, because mana tahu one day your student ask to be honest lah kan, I'm not gonna lie, I find it kinda ridiculous for us to ambek tahu when you can just ask in history class begitu, like why do you need to ask your English teacher about that,
Mm.
like
I
kan.
think there may be a reason behind that because well, as news have been coming, some ministers especially, they will sometimes go visit schools and just enter class. And just
Oh,
yeah, it just happened to SM Holly. Not the minister then came into the class. No, it happened to SM Holly about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
oh,
the
okay, what
minister
happened though?
YB Teo Ching, she visited our school SM Holly, and they basically did
Wow.
a program that is related to cyberbullying, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, the teachers
Ah,
at the time they
okay.
must acknowledge this YB is under what ministry, what part of the ministry, like which one. So yeah, maybe there is an importance lah. Maybe why the panels have to ask it.
Yeah.
And like
Mm.
in Semenanjung also as well, also sometimes in Sabah, the education minister will visit schools. So never know. So
Mm.
maybe just that's why they ask, they interview this lah, the future teachers,
The candidate. Yeah.
future
Yeah, the
candidates,
teachers.
so that they are well aware of the current government structure. For me lah.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the reason, but at the time I rather found it ridiculous lah, because
Mm.
it's basically learning history again, but I'm thinking I applied for TESL, why bother learning about this at what I thought exactly at the time lah. So yeah, from that day until the day before the interview, I studied each minister, like who, siapa menteri ini, siapa menteri itu, like what are their contributions and all that, because they are not that specific bah the interview, dia punya soalan-soalan, it's not fixed, so must prepare for every, just in case lah.
Mm.
Okay, so on the day of the interview, I arrived at UMS lah, since the interview spot for Zone Sabah, the UMS. Yeah. So yeah, I had to fly from Tawau to KK just for that. At first, I did not know what to do because it was just me by myself, and I saw other candidates, they were with their parents. So at least they don't look that lost lah. I mean, kalau dorang nampak lost pun, they look lost together lah. Tengok apa sesat sama-sama. But me, I was alone at the time. My sister drove me to MS, and after she dropped me off and she just left. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know where to go at the time, so I just follow other candidates with their parents too. So yeah, I arrived there. I just took a seat somewhere, some empty spot lah,
Mm.
and I think, yeah, I woke up pretty early. I woke up at 4 a.m. My interview started at 9 a.m. Yeah, I woke up very early. very, very early because I had to get ready, girls
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
I have to dress up and put on my makeup, put on my tudung and all that. So, yeah, I left home at around 6, 7, I think. Yeah. And I arrived at around 8, gitulah. Like, maybe hours, an hour before the interview started lah. And yeah, from then on, I met a lot of people that is also attending the interview, different courses, of course. And I met a girl and I asked her, "Are you taking TESL too?" And she said no. She is taking. Yeah, she applied for Bahasa Ethnic. Yeah,
Oh,
Bahasa Ethnic. I was like, wow, that's impressive. I think dia lepasan STPM kot, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, lepasan
Because
STPM.
it is more preferably for game students to take it. But
Yeah.
matriculation student also can take, but with condition that they take ethnic language in their SPM lah. Ah,
Oh.
yeah.
Hmm.
If like
Yeah.
Sabah students, well, maybe if they take Bahasa Kadazan Dusun and they scored the subject well, they had the chance to apply for it. But I'm not sure if matriculation students can do so because the chances are kind of thin because
Quite
in
low. Yeah.
metrics there is no language courses. The only one day is
Yeah.
English, so kind of thin for a matriculation student to apply for ethnic languages.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I also met a lot of matriculation students, particularly from Camel. Yeah, yeah, I saw some familiar faces,
Oh.
but of course, they took different courses. I saw one of them applied for Science Sukan, I think. Yeah, yeah, Science Sukan. Macam senior, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know lah, maybe. And we just skipped to 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is basically where my writing test starts lah. Okay, so for the writing test, it apa it is divided into 3 parts, 3 sections. Section A, grammar. Section B, reading. And section C, essay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for the section A and section B, total there are 50 questions that you have to answer. And for the section C, only 1 question that you have to answer. Costs about 30 marks, I think, for the essay, 30 marks for the section A and section B. Each has 20 marks. Yeah. 20 marks? I don't know, maybe more than that. I kind of forgot already. So, yeah, when I entered the testing room, there are like already papers laid down on the examination tables. I was like, wow, I'm about to cook this paper. Kono lah. Lepas tu, I took a seat lah but the test started kind of late though. 10 minutes late. Yeah. Because, I think the lecturers yang urus interview tu, macam kalang kabut ba? Yeah, it macam masa tu memang kalang kabut lah, panel-panel, urus setia semua. Because I think they came late. Yeah, I think they came late and yeah, it's kind of messy lah. Like, okay, before this lah, aku belum, I forgot that part. Before your interview starts, you need to go register. You need to go register, give your IC, give your slip, and do a blind color test. Which kind of surprised me, honestly. Because I thought that color blind test is usually for, candidates that are applying for art courses. But I was shocked that it applies to all candidates. So while the Urusitya was typing out my name, my IC number, I had to read out the numbers on the
Maybe I
colorblind
think it's
test sheets.
maybe kind of a general requirement, I guess. If you want
Yeah, but
to maybe lah, because sometimes in teaching you are required to like identify colors,
mm,
like in uh,
yeah,
like in chemistry there's like a lot of reaction that can happen, so like you need to know
yeah, yeah.
the color that is formed
Mm,
after the reaction. So no, not also that, in bio also you need to identify
mm,
colors,
mm,
physics,
mm.
English maybe, because I don't know, maybe describes an object or something, I guess
Yeah,
lah.
maybe I don't
Yeah,
know, but
maybe to describe
yeah,
an object.
I did not expect that because according to the panduan ringkas tu, it said ada juga dia cakap apa tu jalani ujian buta warna, but they put a bracket there for certain courses only. I don't know lah. Maybe they were in a rush at the time, so they just want to get the stuff done lah in registration because masa tu lama memang lambat sudah lah for the writing test tu. So yeah, back to the test part. Uh at first I was kind of shocked because I thought the paper will be like, typical SPM exam paper lah, like testing your comprehension. The format kan for paper 1 tu. I
Mm-hmm.
opened the paper, tiba-tiba tiba-tiba pasal grammar. I was like, oh man, am I cooked? Lepas tu I remember the first question lah, macam itu did blank some apa the thing coming lah, begitu-begitu. So the options macam did, be, on, begitulah, had, begitu kan. I was like, my god, I didn't read about grammar at all at the time. So I was like, am I cooked? Am I cooked? But I kept my composure, of course, and then I read the sentence over and over again because for me lah kan, English ni, as long as it sounds good when you read the sentence out, then that's the correct answer. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
basically like that. Uh
well,
so
if
yeah,
you expect
what
you are becoming an English teacher, of course they will see your grammar. Basically,
yeah, so
I like when you
yes.
talk about grammar. Okay, I don't want to say that, but in matriculation during matrix, I was
Hmm?
basically exposed to grammar like zero grammar exposure in matrix.
Same. Same.
Like I
Like
don't know, maybe because our English teacher back in secondary school did a great job, I guess. Because I remember she basically told us to write grammar notes at the back of our exercise book.
dude, for real.
And she will
I still
literally
have
quiz
that book.
us
I
on a
still
random
have that
class,
book. Oh my
and we
god.
will be shaking to find a note just to answer a question.
Yeah.
I still keep it because
Literally,
my book
man. Oh
are
my
still
god.
here. I still keep it.
I still have that
Think.
book.
Yeah, I think I still keep a note.
So, yeah. And like, I was like, my god, I regret not reading a single thing about grammar. So, yeah, I think I did great on the grammar part. For comprehension, to be honest, I had reading long text. So I was like, I did the method the way our English teacher taught us back then lah. Read the question first,
Yes.
like then go
Yeah.
find the answer lah. Yang apa? I circle the keyword first, then I go find the keyword yang apa tu yang macam ada included in that one paragraph lah. Then I search for the answers there, quick and easy. Yeah. So for the writing part, uh we were required to write an article, which made me so happy at the time because I really like writing, factual essays. And if I remember correctly, the topic is about the importance of taking care of the environment and how and why having conversation about environmental issues important among students. And we had to write an essay in 250 until 300 words of essay lah. Another tip from me is, read sample essays. Yeah. Read sample essays, read about basically read facts lah. Macam
Mm-hmm.
sample-sample essay dulu macam masa SPM tu, like if you want to practice lah for the comprehension part tu, I suggest you refer to your past English exercises. Because dia punya soalan macam hampir sebiji je dia punya format. Please read your grammar, guys. Bacalah grammar tu sikit-sikit. Walaupun pandai je goreng bahasa Inggeris tu, but you need to baca sikit
You
lah if you are pursuing TESL. Yeah.
need to have a really, really
Okay.
good.
Yeah, good grammar, good basic grammar. And enough about the writing test. I think I did good. Yeah, I wrote a lot. And check your paper lah. It's common sense. Check your paper sampai habis masa. Do not leave early. Please don't leave early. So
Mm-hmm.
we go to the interview part lah. My interview at the time started at around 2:45 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
afternoon. Yeah. And after like 1 hour and 30 minutes, the writing test, I had a long break lah. I left UMS for a while, grabbed a bite, lunch, and then came back at around 1:50 or 2 p.m. gitu. So make sure to register lah, to register to the Urusetia 30 to 45 minutes earlier before your interview tu. Okay, so at the time I was kind of nervous lah sudah interview kan. I kept reading the articles about recent issues, like I stuffed my brain with it. So I go cari seat lah, find a seat to put my stuff down, read the notes from my iPad. Then a guy that was sitting next to me, he saw me reading. He was applying for TESL too. He saw me reading and he was like, "You don't need to read all that." I was like, "Are you for real?" That apa tu? Dorang tak tanya pun tadi. So I asked lah, "Have you already done the interview?" And he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, he already
Okay.
had done it." Dia sesi pagi, morning session. Who are the panels and all that. So basically he told me, but the panel just asked 3 questions. Yeah. And for the last question, it differs. For him, he got teaching online. How to teach, as if you become a teacher, how do you teach online efficiently? Something like that. I forgot already. And his other friend, at the time, TESL juga, she got about AI ka? Yeah, about
Oh.
AI. The pros and cons, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I forgot already juga. So, during the interview, I was the first person, unfortunately, orang pertama, because apa tu satu interview session, five person. So I was the first one that needed to, introduce myself, speak, and all that. When I first entered the room, the panel consists of like one guy and one woman lah, both Indians by the way. So I entered, and the male panel kind of intimidated me because his face macam, apa tu, he made himself look like he's in a bad mood begitu.
Yeah.
And yeah, while the female while the female panel just smiled at us when we were entering the room. We took our seats, we placed our identity cards to them and our files lah, and then we took a seat. So the panel gave us some briefing. Then briefing in English, of course, it's TESL. He told us that the interview will be divided into three parts: self-introduction, uh, a question for the five of us to discuss, and another question that you must answer in Bahasa Melayu. Fully
Oh.
Bahasa Melayu, no English. Yes. So for the first part of introduction, each of us introduce ourselves like one by one. I started first, then the other. And in my group, there are like three matriculation students from KML juga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, including me, 3 orang, and satu orang lepasan STPM, and another one a graduate, a graduate from SIM, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so for the second part, the panel asked us a question for the five of us to discuss lah. For the second question, he asked us, okay, as a teacher, as a student lah, what kind of courses do you think teachers need to attend to upgrade their teaching skills or their quality in teaching? Anyone can start. At the time, I wanted to start, but my mind was not quite made up yet. Like the points weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch about technology courses because zaman teknologi sekarang banyak guru-guru belum are not tech savvy lah basically. The USIM graduate already touched that topic. So I was like, dang, she already took that one. I I quickly think of something and I touch about mental health courses lah begitu. Yeah, I answered mental health courses because teachers currently are working under pressure that can cause them to have mental health issues macam depression, anxiety. I answered that lah basically. Yeah, and there are various types of answers which quite impressed me lah. And ada yang jawab emotional management, ada yang jawab social media courses, yeah, and all that lah. For the third question, Bahasa Melayu, the panel basically gave you a situation lah. In my case, he asked us in Malay, adakah anda bersetuju jika ibu bapa kamu mengikuti anda di media sosial? So yeah, of all answered agree lah. So parents can pantau their kids and all that. Typical answers gitu.
Mm.
But for me, I answered so parents can can keep up with their child on their life because usually teenagers don't share things with their parents as in like what is going on in their life that they share it on their social media gitu. Kan betul juga kan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I answered that. And yeah, that's basically it. That's basically the interview lah. It was a pleasant interview juga lah. Dia santai juga actually. The panel was nice. And it kind of surprised me juga lah because the interview is that short. I expected it to be longer, like more than 15 minutes. And yeah, I was like, they just only asked that and no mock teaching? Because I saw one of my teammates, they have like, teaching material. They prepared a teaching material, but tak kena suruh mock teaching. So I kind of feel bad for her because her project looks good. It looks organized. Nampak cantik lah, kemas. But she didn't get to use it. I feel bad for her low key. So yeah, that's the interview. Tu je lah I can share to simplify the tips. The tips ni, make sure you prepared everything. Don't be nervous. Take deep breaths. Like apa tu, make sure to be polite lah to the panels. Use both hands when you are giving or receiving things from them gitulah. Okay, maybe I will include it in the description later. Okay, so let's wrap things up. Let's conclude the podcast for tonight lah. And I want to make a bit of a self reflection and give some life lesson. So to conclude, what I can learn from my interview and my overall my life lah basically is to not suppress or hide away your potential. Yeah. And because when people said that I'm good in English, that I have potential in pursuing career English lah, I hide it away. I was stubborn. I didn't listen to them. Instead, I insisted juga mau ambil science. I overestimated myself, and yeah, after matriculation, it really make me realize lah that to not suppress, hide away your potential. Embrace it, like embrace it, trust in God's plan. That's the important thing. Trust in God's plan. Yeah, that basically wraps up our podcast for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again on the next episode. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.